Okay.
Okay, we're recording, so whatever bloopers get in, right, at this point.
They got in.
All right, if
Unique
you
the
could
bloopers.
share with us your name and position and how long you've been with CPD.
Sure. My name's Ernest Cato. I'm the Deputy Chief of Area 4. I've with the Chicago Police Department. I've been with the Chicago Police Department now for over 29 years.
Wow, that's amazing. So, you and I met 5 years ago when I started at BUILD, and I love to tell the
I
story
remember.
of that rainy early morning at 5:30 in the morning on Jackson Boulevard in Columbus Park when we were getting ready for a parade and then the Summer of Opportunity kickoff. And I remember my first encounter with you was one that was pleasant and supportive and helpful, and it made me really excited about what was going to happen later that day. But more importantly, I felt like, wow, this guy's taking it in stride. Surprisingly, I was stressed out and worried, and we had that stage in the middle of Jackson, and traffic was still going through. And I believe for me, that was kind of the start of how that relationship, right, started. And over time, as you've grown in your ranks, because you were lieutenant at the time when I met you, I noticed that you have really been a part of the work that BUILD's been doing, from our Donna Dudley Peace League over in Moore Park, the Christmas parade, which I absolutely love. It's always cold, but a good thing anyway, down Madison.
Cold, but it's warm.
That's right. That's right. The Summer of Opportunity, of course. I mean, it goes without saying, between a parade and then shutting down the street of the park. We know what that's about, and every step of the way you've been there, from the planning and getting your team to support it, and how do we have events that are safe and that the community can enjoy. You were a presenter at the Black Table talking with our youth about your experience and how you got to where you're at. Your team has supported our summer peace bike rides. And then that podcasting you did with Lati Smith, right? And what an amazing story that you shared. And certainly one that's inspiring to Lati. And quite honestly, like, as I always say, it's a story you don't always hear, right? You hear about the bad guy, and that's about it. And it's hard to hear of an opportunity for a young person change their life, and then the police officer who was there in the mix when all of the bad stuff was happening, to kind of see the reformation and have a chance to talk with him. And I think that for me has always been special, and has touched me in such a way that I think it's humbling, right? And I think what it speaks to me of you is just volumes of the type of man that you are and the leader that you are, someone who is humble, not afraid to get out there, not afraid to take chances to make his community and the people better. So thank you for that. And talk to us a little bit about what inspires you each day.
Well, I tell you, Adam, you went back to 2016, that morning of the parade. I didn't know that parade was going to be happening, by the way. And there was a lot of things that wasn't in place. But what I did know is that you were bringing something special to the community. And I wanted to play a role in that. I wanted to ensure that what you were doing at that parade, that everyone experienced that parade. See, I was a young man, grew up on the west side of Chicago. And when I grew up in the area of the 4300 block of West Marlboro, one of the probably the toughest blocks right now in the city of Chicago, we had those things. We had that atmosphere of community. We had block clubs. We had where folks knew each other from across the street.
Sure.
That morning of the parade, as we were walking down, I saw folks come onto their porches with amazement. Two types of amazement. One, they were shocked that a parade was coming down Jackson Street.
Sure.
Two, they had the amazement of, they had the look of enjoyment. And then when the parade ended in the park, and to see those families come into that park and just start communicating, that was huge, to see babies just walk around with no fear. And you were bringing something special to the community. And we just wanted to make sure the magic that you were bringing was going to happen that particular morning. Yeah. And from that point on, I just knew there should be more parades on the west side of Chicago. And guess what? We've been having more parades. We're going to continue to have more parades because it's something special.
Sure.
They are something special. And that was a huge turning point for me personally. And I think if we continue to do things like that, you will see violence reduce because people are going to think folks care about.
Sure.
And that's one of the most important things.
Sure. I think what, also over this time, what all of us, and then I'll speak for Bill in particular, but I think I could probably speak on behalf of much of our community partners and colleagues, just your willingness to support whatever community events or plannings or things that we're thinking about to make community better. You're always there, right, to support it. And, take it for what it is, I think, and there are always going to be folks on either side of the fence about what they believe about policing. But I think what you've done is to instill hope on our side, certainly, to say, wow, look at this guy in power and leadership position who has embraced, the community in such a way and says, look, I need you as partners. Let's work together. And as I said earlier, I think your level of humility and just the willingness to jump out there and try something, right? I mean, as with anything, all of this could backfire, right? From that parade on that morning, right, to you name any other thing that's going on, the restorative justice community court that's being planned, think of all the things that you've been a part of, all the coalition meetings, and everyone has nothing but respect for your leadership and what you brought to the table. And I think that takes someone special to do that, because not everyone is willing to kind of put ego aside, pride aside, and step back and be in a mode of, let me learn, let me see, how does this all fit together? And I will say that has been so powerful, and I hope that you will continue, obviously, to share that for the rest of your career and beyond. But so what do you think about that and what you've been able to do within Austin, the West Side, and now in your new position, how you're influencing community in such a way?
Adam, I just found myself just being another piece to this puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
Another piece of this puzzle. Let's put it this way. Policing has changed. We can no longer police the way that we policed 30 years ago.
Right.
It's not effective. Has it worked? It has not worked, and it will not work.
Right.
What has been working is the partnerships that we've been building, the ability to collaborate with other organizations. And it's working, and it will continue to work. Me personally, my role, I think, is just to help facilitate. A lot of the hard work is being done for organizations like yourself. I mean, to be honest, the police department is a tool that can help push organizations in the directions they should be going, or help bring them together. Sure. And it does work. It does work when you have one individual, one organization who's willing to work with many and just bring them together.
What surprises you most about this work that you've been doing around community building and working with nonprofits?
Wow. It's actually, it was outside of my realm.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea about how nonprofits work,
mm-hmm.
community organizations work, but I do understand people.
Yeah.
What surprised me the most is that everyone wants to work together. Right. They're just trying to figure out a way how to do it together.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have one common thread, and I think that one common thread is that we want people to have quality of life.
Sure.
We want kids to be able to play in playgrounds. Mm-hmm. We want young girls to be able to jump rope on the block. We want little boys to be able to run up and down the street without worrying about a stray bullet coming down the block. But the biggest thing that surprises me the most is that people are surprised that they can work together. It amazes me. People are surprised that they can work together.
Right.
And then when they do work together, they see that the biggest surprise is that it's effective.
Sure. Well, and I think it also, it speaks to leadership, right? And there are a variety of leaders out there. What do you think in particular makes a great leader?
Someone who cares.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who cares about not themselves, but someone who cares about how it would work for everyone else. I think when you genuinely care in some form of, and you have some good character, you'll see the results that you and I have seen.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a good leader, the basic thing that he does, he cares about everyone else, because he knows or she knows that when it all comes together, it's going to help them also, that we are going to be able to live in a great place. So it really just comes down to someone who cares and who's someone who really wants to put the work in.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And, you know, I think it's that leadership style that you've described that I would say you embody to the fullest. And again, that level of leadership is inspiring, right? I mean, people want to come and support. So when you call out and there's a meeting, people want to be there, right? When you want to bring folks together and think through an issue or a situation, and how do we bring people together? People respond to your leadership, and that level of inspiration, I think, is what inspires others. Certainly, I would, the folks that you command and what that looks like, but I've only ever seen them have nothing but high level of respect for you and your leadership style, and that has not gone unnoticed, certainly. And for us at BUILD, we'd like to honor you with the Community Leadership Award because of all the things you've said, all the great support you've given the organization, but bigger than the organization, it's what you've given to the Austin neighborhood, now to the West Side, right, to the city of Chicago. All those things make for an amazing, great leader, and someone who we are absolutely proud to say, please accept this honor on behalf of BUILD. And we want to continue to see that leadership shine throughout the city of Chicago as you've done so far, reducing violence, bringing people together, and really creating a change that everyone's been hoping for. So thank you for your leadership and the work that you've been doing and for inspiring us all.
Thank you, Adam. I'm going to accept this award, but I'm accepting this award from my mother, Shirley May. Shirley Mae Smith in the good old state of Mississippi right now, who I haven't had the opportunity to see for the last 7 months right now because of what's going on. So sure. I'm going to accept this award from my mother because my mother is the one who has made Ernest Cato who he is. And she's ill right now, so she's going to be really excited about this. And I thank you for doing this.
Awesome. Excellent. Thank you. All right.